Good afternoon. It is Tuesday afternoon and I am getting ready to pack up the items that sold on Sunday and Monday and a little bit of last night, but wanted to show you those items. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 items to package up and take to the post office today. Some of these items you will remember seeing from our last video, so that means that they sold in less than 2 days, 3 days. So that's pretty exciting. Probably when we go to the post office after we drop that stuff off, we will most likely go ahead and stop back in at the Howe thrift store since we had such good luck the first time. So let's get started, and I'm going to tell you which items sold as well as what they sold for and how many days it took to sell the items. Some of these, I will say, I'm going to tell you the price that they sold, so I'm not including shipping. So like the first item that we see is this hat right here. It's called the Hater brand. It sold for $14 plus shipping. So $14 minus the eBay fees is what I will profit. So $14 plus shipping. So I think it was like their total was $19.97 or something like that. So as I've mentioned before, I really like to sell hats because they are really easy to ship. They're usually pretty inexpensive. Most of the time, I really just try to pick up hats that are already super clean, like new. Sometimes I will go ahead and clean them, do like an oxy bath kind of thing. But if they're super vintage, like I said in the last video, I usually don't. And I just kind of point out any flaws on the listing. But lately, I've been having a lot of luck with hats. And so this one is kind of neat. It's got the zebra print and the leopard. One of the things that I've really kind of learned in the last almost 2 years of doing eBay and thrifting is it's just so funny how the things that I see that I'm like, oh, I would totally pick that up, are usually not the things that sell. But the things that I go, oh, that's really interesting, or I've never seen something like that before, usually do pretty well. So keep that in mind. Of course, I always do the, look, scan, the Google Lens, the search through the eBay. So that is the first item. The second item is this Coach necklace that I got in I used to subscribe to this box subscription service. It would send like different items, and this was one of the items that I got. I ended up never wearing it, and so I put that up and it sold. It took 2 months to sell, but it sold for $19.97. Next up is we have this PlayStation game. You might remember seeing this. We picked this up at the Howe a couple of days ago, and it sold for $19.97 plus shipping. And I do not have a PlayStation, but I just made sure to mention in the listing that it was untested. I took pictures of the inside as well as the back of the disc, and so that I always just make sure if I'm not able to test it that I put it in the listing that I haven't been able to test it. Next up, we have this 31 brand clutch wallet, and this sold for $40. I originally had it listed for $50 based on the comps, but I took an offer for $40. Super happy with that. Picked this up at the Salvation Army bins last Friday. So really a dollar into 40 is awesome. So $40 plus shipping. It is brand new, just without tags. So a great piece right here. We also sold it's summer, so our sandals, like I said, are selling well. So if you see sandals, I would go ahead and pick them up, look for them. These kind of rope sandals sold for $17 plus shipping. I did take an offer on these, and they took 10 days to sell, so a little over a week. We have this brand. I picked these up. They were new with tags. And now I wish there was a lot more. It was that day, I don't know, I think on my other social media, I might have put a video, sorry, my eye is itchy, of 2 weeks ago. Let me see how long. Yeah, this took 8 days to sell, but 2 weeks ago, Salvation Army bin day on Friday. It was crazy. I mean, there was just, I'll try to put a picture or something up, but the bins were overflowing. The clothing resellers, I'm kind of an everything reseller. I do shoes, I do clothes, I do hard goods, that kind of thing. But they had just kind of taken everything, thrown it everywhere. And so there's just piles. And as I was attempting to dig through the piles, even though it was like 100 degrees outside. I was sweating. I saw a bag of brand new items with tags, and I hadn't heard of the brand. I think it's Quince or Quincy. But I thought I'm just gonna grab a few because some of them, I mean, they're kind of heavier, and I really didn't need more clothing. But it's like I'm gonna try it. I wish I would have found more because I've almost sold all of them. Like I said, this blazer sold for $21.22 plus shipping. I mean, when I finally got all that stuff home, I did the math, and really it was like $1 per item. So that was really good. And I love selling new tag stuff because I'd still give it a good kind of look over to make sure there are any flaws, but usually it's pretty good. So $21.22 plus shipping. This next item you saw from our last video because we got it, let's see, we got it 2 days ago. It sold in 2 days. And it was this really cute Tokyo Disney Resort t-shirt. And so if I see stuff from resorts or theme parks, I usually look it up. Especially one of my kind of be on the lookouts are the Silver Dollar City mugs, the grandfathered mugs. I'll put a picture right here. If you see those at the bins, pick them up. I live close to, well, somewhat close to Silver Dollar City. It's a few hours, but it's a big deal because you can take those grandfather cups and get refills and stuff for like 99 cents. So they usually sell, depending on the cup, you're probably guaranteed about $20 per mug. So if you see those out in the wild, be on the lookout for them, pick them up. But this sold for $24.97 plus shipping, sold in 2 days. Okay, so this we picked up, this was also Salvation Army bins, and VHS, it's hit and miss, right? But I usually will go ahead and look at the box sets, and this was a box set, Godzilla. Like I said, again, I did not test it, but I put in the listing that it was untested, and this sold for $40 plus shipping. And this one also was a really good example. This sold in 3 days, and I had gotten some offers the first day, the second day. People were like, would you take 20 for it? Would you take 24? And I kind of just held off for a little bit, and sure enough, it ended up selling for $40. So sometimes I get it. I'm one of those sellers that I absolutely want to move product. I've heard for a long time, and a lot of you know, we're not hoarders, we're resellers, we're, thrifters. And so I want to move these items. And so I don't want to just, be kind of, I guess, in a way stingy and be like, oh no, I'm never going to sell this for less than I have it posted for. But also I think you have to be careful of, especially if it's been there for less than a week, to just kind of give it some time and see if it will sell. So that one did. I was really excited about it. The next thing took 8 months to sell, and it is a little piece of artwork, and I already have it in the bag here, but it's called Reading Lesson. I'm gonna put that up there so you can see. Like I said, this took 8 months to sell. I got it at the Goodwill bins. I just thought it was a cool piece. And it was sold for $22.48 plus shipping. So, a little bit long a wait, but happy to see it go to its new home. Okay, so those were our eBay sales. I also sell on Poshmark. I recently, probably in the last 6 months, I'd have to look and see when I started selling on Poshmark. But my idea was that I had a lot of clothing, and I thought if I can maybe focus the new items of clothing that I get on Poshmark, then we'll see how that does. And so I've kind of been putting hats, accessories, clothing on Poshmark. So we had 2 sales on Poshmark. It took about 8 days to get these sold. And again, I bet you can't guess, it's a hat. So golf hats, summer, people playing golf. Golf hats have been doing really well. This is like my 3rd or 4th Titleist hat to sell. So this sold, I took an offer, $12, and like I said, this, especially if I pick them up at the Salvation Army bins or Goodwill bins, very lightweight, less than $1. So this one sold $12. And then another one of those Quince items, and this was a lightweight cotton cashmere sweater, all black, and it sold for $28. So that one did really well. And like I said, $1. Really, it ended up where one of these items ended up paying for the entire load of stuff that I got that day. So it really worked out. Totally worth the sweating and digging through there. So those are the 2 Poshmark items. And then last, we have an item that I sold on Vinted. I got on Vinted after I got on Poshmark, really as a way to kind of take the items that were not selling on eBay or Poshmark and put them on Vinted. A lot of people I've seen on some of the other like social media groups and things like that asking, what do you all think about Vinted? It's gone okay. I've sold some items. This one, another Timeless hat, sold for $6.63. And you might think, well, you sold this one for $12. There's a couple of things to remember. On Vinted, there's no seller fees. And also you don't have to worry about the shipping costs because that's all taken care of within the platform, and the buyer takes care of that. So when you list something, say you list something for $10, that's how much you will profit if it sells for $10. So this sold for $6.63. Is it as much as this one? No, because this one sold for $12. So after fees, I'm profiting probably about 9 or 10. But still, it's really nice. This one, I just had a bunch of Timeless hats. I thought I'd spread them out. I have some on eBay. I have some on Poshmark. I have some on Vinted. So I was fine with that. And like I said, less than $1 into 6. I'm okay with that. So those are the items that are going out today. I'm going to get those packaged up. I first have to write my thank you notes. That is one thing that I've been doing from the very beginning, and I would encourage you to do that as well. It doesn't have to be long. You can even kind of make, just a little template. I make sure to put a thank you note, handwritten thank you note, into every single one of my items. Does it take time? Yes. But do I feel like it's worth it? Absolutely. I feel like I've definitely gotten more people that will write reviews. We want positive reviews. I want my customers to be happy. And so, in the short time that I've been selling, I have over 800 positive reviews on my eBay store, which is fantastic. It makes me so happy. And so I think that the note helps. I think it's a really good personal touch, and I want my buyers to know that I appreciate them. This endeavor, this, side hustle, whatever you want to call it, helps pay my bills. And so I really appreciate that. And then also, I want to mention one more thing before I get this stuff packaged, and it's the international shipping program through eBay. I would highly recommend that. If you're going to set up your eBay store and you're like, do I want to do international shipping? Yes, you do. You want to sell to international buyers. It opens up, but it opens up a whole world of people to buy from you. And I have had really, really good success with that. But one of the things that I love is that you don't have to worry about shipping problems or returns. Once that item gets to the shipping hub and it passes that, if there's any issue with your items, even if the person wants to return the item, eBay takes care of that, and you don't lose that profit. You don't lose that money. So it's been really nice. I recently had someone, I'd sent an item, and this sometimes happens. I sent an item and the item had a flaw, and I described that flaw on the listing. I had pictures, I had written it into the description, and when they got it, they sent me a message and they said that they had a complaint that there was a flaw, and I sent pictures of that specific thing. And I don't like that they weren't happy, but also I'm like, it was in the pictures and it was listed in the description. So I sent it back a message, and I actually attached the original listing, and I said, as you can see in the original listing, the flaw was described, but nonetheless, customer satisfaction is super important to me. So feel free to request a return, and that will be handled through the international shipping program, because it was an international order. I felt so much less stress knowing that it was an international order, because I knew that it would be taken care of. They didn't end up, as of this point, they didn't end up requesting a return. So I'm not sure if they were just trying to pull one over on me, or if it was just an honest mistake and they were like, whether maybe a language barrier or something, and they're like, oh no, I didn't even realize that you had it listed like that. And so it ended up okay, but I've only had, I think, one other time that it got broken on the way to an international. It made it to the hub, but by the time it got to the customer, it was broken, and eBay took care of it. And so I didn't have to worry about issuing a return, a refund. They took care of it. And so I highly recommend the international shipping program, selling to international buyers through eBay. Now, I don't even think about this, but I'm sure there's people out there. Does it mean that you get to take advantage of international buyers? No. Like, make sure you're sending them the exact thing that they purchased. Make sure that you're still providing good customer care. Make sure that you are putting any flaws, making really good descriptions, taking those really good pictures. It's not a kind of get out of jail card of running a good business, but it really is a sense of kind of take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. I've had an item that was one of my best sales, and it was over $400. They paid under $400, and I saw it was an international buyer, and I was like, this is awesome, because I know that the buyer's going to be taken care of on the internet on that side, and I will be taken care of as the seller too. So, but it ended up, because they knew exactly what they were getting, we were happy on both sides. So there we go. That is what's going out today. That was, I think we're at like 60 minutes, a little long, but if I do go to the thrift store, which I probably will, I will pop back in and show you what we pick up. So thank you so much for watching, especially if you've watched this far. Thank you so much I noticed I got my first subscriber. So if that is you, thank you so much. That I ran to my best friend and I was like, were you the one that subscribed to my YouTube channel? And she was like, no. And I was like, oh my gosh, then it's actually somebody out there. So thank you so much. If you aren't subscribed and you enjoy getting to see what people find out in the wild, really cool things to look for, and maybe you're wanting to start an eBay store and you just want some encouragement or want to hear from somebody who's fairly new at it, 2 years-ish, then join me on my adventures of finding things, finding treasures, and finding new homes for them. And so I hope that you have a wonderful day. I'll try to pop back on here to show you what we find, if anything, at the thrift store. So catch you on the next one. Okay, so the first thrift store we went to, the How thrift store, which I had so much luck at a couple of days ago. Didn't find anything today, and so I went ahead, and across the street from that thrift store is a Goodwill. So I decided to check that out. I really didn't find a lot, but I did get a couple of pieces of clothing. So I'll show you those, and then that will be it for our sourcing today. Like I said, we went to the post office and it was kind of on the way home. So this is what we picked up just now at the Goodwill, which is behind me. Okay, so here are a couple items I picked up. I picked up this We Can Do It shirt from, it's got a Made in America tag. Originally, new at tags, it was $20, and it was, let's see, I don't know where it was an orange tag. Oh no, it was a yellow tag. So $3.99 for that. But like I said, it's new with tags. And then I got these pair of shorts. Bear with me as I try to do this with one hand. They're just kind of the vintage looking, I don't think they are vintage, but kind of throwback Y2K, US Polo Association, just denim jeans with the kind of what I think they call the fifth pocket. So picked these up. They were $5.49. I picked up a Brooks running shirt. It was an orange tag. This was the orange tag. So orange tag was 50% off today, so it was $2. I'm always looking for, when I'm out doing yard work and occasionally when I go for a jog, just something really cool to wear temperature wise. And then the last thing I got are these, talking about cool, is a pair of cool pants, just kind of lightweight hiking, walking pants. And so picked these up as well, and they are $5.99. So that is what we just picked up. Not any really big, profit makers, but I should at least, kind of make double what I paid. So probably between $12 to $20 on most of that stuff. So that's okay. Sometimes, you go in and you find a lot of stuff. Sometimes you don't find anything, so that's all right. But I think that's going to do it for today. We're going to head back home. It is almost 5 o'clock. Eat some dinner. And then the next time that we are planning to go sourcing, like an actual plan, is our Friday morning Salvation Army bins trip. And so last week was awesome. It's already paid for that trip and more. So I'm excited to go back. It's the one where we really got to dig a lot. But that will be Friday. So make sure you are clicking that subscribe button if you want to see what we find at the Salvation Army bins. Hopefully I'll try to get that posted either the same day or Saturday. So thanks for coming along with us today, and I'll catch you on the next one.